Hey guys, Romie here. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're a first time viewer. This episode was either the top 3 or top 2 best episode of this season. Oh, yeah, let's get into this. So again, please like and comment on this video. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber of mine. Now, this episode starts off with Paul. He's officially the new HOH. And he's excited, he's thrilled, I mean, he's so happy, and you can't help to be happy for him because he did it for Victor, he did it for himself, he saved himself, and this is where we find out that Paul and James already have a conversation about, you know, if worse comes to worse, they'll work together so that they can push forward. Now, like I said, Paul is just he's so emotional right now, but he has to get it together because in the same breath, now he has to decide who he's going to put up. It's not a hard choice. We know who's going to be. It's going to be Nicole and Corey. Nicole and Corey have to expect it at this point because you have to think about it, like, all the stuff that you guys have done. I mean, for weeks you plotted against Paul and Victor whether they knew it or not. So now it's just come full circle. The issue is that Nicole is over it, and Corey actually pissed her off. She was like, Corey, stop. I was like, oh, whoa, Nicole, is that actual emotion? Like, what's going on here? You doing that to your bae? And Nicole being up, especially at this point in time of the game, she can't deal with it. Because I think this is the first time Nicole is actually put on the block. It is. Now, we get to the jury house. And the jury house is still divided. Natalie hasn't shown up yet. But, you know, Nicole... Speaking of Nicole, Big Meech has all these, you know, anti-Nicole drawings. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Everyone's getting their arts and crafts on. Except for, Zakia is as well. But the issue is the house is divided. It's Corey and, it's Zakia and Paulie versus the rest of the house. Basically versus the rest of the house. Michelle's kind of neutral. But, as we know, Paulie has been rubbing the other girls the wrong way, except for Zakia, apparently. And so the other girls have also band together, with the exception of Big Meech. And they're just like, you know what, we're not really feeling you. We're not really feeling you because you're feeling Paul. Now, they're thinking, okay, who's going to come? Who's going to come? We don't want it to be Natalie. We don't want it to be Natalie or James. Who ends up coming? Natalie. Natalie ends up coming there, and it's like, oh, they're thinking, wait a minute. Who wasted the move? It was so messed up. It was partially accurate, but, I mean, if they actually saw how Natalie was starting to play towards the end, they wouldn't have said that, because Natalie's game started to come out of nowhere, and it wasn't out of nowhere. We know that she was realistically laying low and trying to run this you know, I'm terrible, I suck campaign, and it was working for a moment until it was time to win, and then all of a sudden Natalie was starting to get second place. It's like, wait a minute, something's not correlating here. If there weren't such strong players in the house, Natalie probably would have won some more competitions. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't care if anyone agrees with me or not. That's just how I feel. Now, it's time for, of course, nominations. Victor wins, and he decides he's going to put up who? Natalie and James. And they're thinking, why would they go and vote you out? Like, we like James, but they really voted you out compared to James. And Natalie was saying, you know, I would have, if I won the veto, I would have used it on James because I would have felt like he deserved it more than me. So there is that. Paulie tries to make a slick comment and remark about how, oh, well, now you understand about how I feel. So it's like, wait a minute, Paulie, you didn't use your veto on, you didn't use the veto on your partner, on Zakia. So then, Devon's like, nah, bye. And Paulie's just like, you know, you're not going to do that to me today. So it's like, oh, well, you can go and say whatever you want. You can go and do whatever you want. At one point, the argument gets so heated because Paulie's not backing down. You know Devon's not backing down. And Paulie goes and he's just like, oh, please. And Devon's irritated because she's like, wait a minute. You don't talk to guys like this, but you don't have an issue talking to women like that. Now, I'm not going to say that Paulie hasn't confronted some guys, because Paulie is actually a type A, meaning he's confrontational. Absolutely, he absolutely is. once tested, even a little bit. So that's why it blew up. And then at one point it's just like, are you setting a good example for... Paulie is just trying to antagonize Devon. He wants to see how far he can take this. Natalie's over it. She leaves. Security steps in. Now you know this is bad. This is Big Brother. So they don't just have like regular security at the jury house, because they normally don't need something like that, because they know that if you put your hands on someone, you're going to get kicked out. That's how this game works. So that's why, if you know this, it wasn't regular security that was there. It wasn't like the normal big reality show security people that would come and hoist someone away. It was production, actual production. I was like, hold up! They had to get in front of Devon, because Devon was this close to Paulie. She was ready to pop off. Paulie, again, he was just being verbally confrontational, and so was Devon, but it felt very uncomfortable. It's like, okay, something could definitely come about this if we don't step in. Bridget's disgusted with Paulie and how Paulie was taking it too far. Natalie was over it. And then Zakiya started to get attacked by Devon, because Zakiya was just like, you know what? Because Devon was saying how, you know, Zakiya, you're just as bad. You're just as bad as him, because why would you go inside with someone like that? What does that say about you? Someone that played you on national TV. Devon wasn't wrong. Devon wasn't wrong. We're going to go past that, because, again, this is not the real world. This is Big Brother. And even though I'm sure ratings are probably going to get a boost just based off of that. The house, it's been a couple of days now. The house has gotten some time to settle down. And, you know, it's still Paulie and Zakiya, you know, versus the rest of the house, because they're not really socializing with them. And so they're speculating who's going to be the next person, who's going to be the next person. Again, they're thinking they want Paul, James, and Victor to make it to the end, especially Victor. They like Victor. It's like Victor definitely proves himself in the house. So when Victor comes through, it's another one. It's just like, are you kidding me? So Victor shows his tape. Corey wins. Paulie's excited. Says like, my boy, he won. I'm just like, be quiet, Paulie. Be quiet. Now, Victor's like, huge blindside. I actually put my faith in Paul and Corey and Nicole. And so they go and put Paul and myself on the block. Major blindside in his eyes. We're like, come on now. You really didn't see that coming? Everyone's excited because they get to see their BB comics. And Big Meech is over hers because, of course, hers is the worst. Big crybaby. She didn't really like the whole weight thing, but aside from that, she was like, you know, it was pretty accurate. And I'm sure they'll get that at the end. Like, production will give certain gifts. They usually get to keep that stuff. So it's really nice. Some people sell it, other people don't. And so it was time for Victor to go. You know, he was the comeback kid. He made his way back into the house 3 times. It was unprecedented. He almost got the record for most competition wins. He had an amazing streak. Everyone's still bummed at the fact that it's just like, dang, Victor gets kicked out. But Devon said it best. It's like, you know, even though I like Paul, James is okay. Nicole's been playing a strong game. Nicole's been doing what needs to be done, so I have to give her props. Now, the last competition is baseball. And we're thinking, oh, are you kidding me? You have Corey still in the house and we're playing a baseball competition? No, it's not that simple. It's a competition where you have to run on, of course, 4 bases, and each base has 2 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or all on 1 base, and then the 0 is on the rest of the base. The 0 stops the clock, but because the clock will continue to count, and you have to go, and once you hear something, it's like, on what day did Tiffany get put on the block for the first time? Well, that was day 18. So you have to go and, of course, run across the bases until you get to 18 and run and hit the pitcher so that it can stop the clock. James was the first one to get knocked out. Are we surprised? No. Are we disappointed? Yes, because we're thinking, James, are you kidding me? Why were you in the house at this point? At first, you were throwing some competitions. Then we realized you actually just suck at these competitions. And I was so disappointed. I was like, James, we were so rooting for you. Next up, Nicole, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want Paulie to win. I don't want Corey to win. So if we can get Nicole or who am I trying to say? Nicole or no, we can't have Nicole or Corey to win because then James will be put up, and I need for one of them to go. So Nicole gets knocked out next. As we know, when it comes to being under pressure, Nicole starts to fumble, and then Paul did such an amazing job that Corey was almost out there. He already had 2 strikes, but Corey came back, and it was like, Paul, you better get this together. Paul, I am rooting for you. Paul, we are rooting for you. Next thing you know, 3 strikes, you're out. Corey is out. Paul is in. Paul has the HOH, and he has the, I had to get it together. And he has the veto, and he decides, of course, not to use the veto, so now it's time for the speeches, and Corey, and he goes and he gives Nicole a smooch, because it was just like, oh, how he never got to first base, even though we know that's a lie. Nicole's just like, you know, do what's best for you. She spent most of her speech talking about how much she loves Corey, and I'm thinking, Nicole, do you want to be in this house, or what are you doing? I understand don't campaign against him, but James is your lifeline. Why aren't you campaigning? Anyway, thankfully James redeemed himself, and he chose Nicole over Corey. This final 3 of Paul, Nicole, and James, this is an epic final 3. Why? Not because of James, because James, he sucks at these competitions, but I did not want Corey to go forward. I didn't want him to go forward. I feel like he didn't entertain me as a player. He won some competitions towards the end. It was strategy, but I don't know what it is about him. I was just like, no. Nicole did a whole lot more. We know she did a whole lot more than you did. I don't want you to. So thank you, James. Thank you. Corey goes and he talks, and why did they have Christmas themed music out for Corey? Why did they go and do that? They're so messed up. Anyway, Julie's talking about how, you know, how's your relationship going to be, and Corey's just like, we're going to be the best of friends, Nicole and I, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. I'm thinking, the best of friends? Damn, Nicole was really infatuated with you, and it just sounds like you were cool. If it continues, it continues. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm thinking, Nicole, thank God you're still in that house, because I would have been pissed if I heard him say something like that. Lord Jesus. Thank you, Paul, for winning the HOH and the veto. Thank you, James, for winning the for voting out Corey. Next Friday is another episode, so come back for that. Then we're going to have the final episode, which will be on. It'll be on Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Please keep in mind that Empire will be back at its regularly scheduled time on Fox at 9 Eastern Standard Time. So I will be watching Empire first. I will do my Empire review first, and then, oh dang, Queen Sugar is also on, and so is, what's that other show? And American Horror Story. Look, I'm gonna do the Queen Sugar. Dang. I'll figure out. Everything will be up by Thursday morning, so it won't matter. But again, please like, comment, subscribe. Come back Friday night.